De Bruyne shot! De Bruyne scores! Was with Kevin De Bruyne, who sets up a shot and scores! 2-0 to City. Brilliant from Kevin De Bruyne! Thumping that in.
De Bruyne. Oh, belter! Absolute belter from Kevin De Bruyne.
De Bruyne. When you need a moment of sheer class.
De Bruyne. Oh! What a way to open your account for the season.
Welcome football fans, today we're diving deep into the extraordinary life of Kevin De Bruyne, the Belgian midfield genius, the silent architect of Manchester City's dominance, and a player many now hail as the greatest the Premier League has ever seen. Once dismissed as a Chelsea reject, De Bruyne rose to become the heartbeat of one of football's most feared teams. He didn't just play the game, he elevated it to poetry in motion. So what makes him truly unforgettable? Let's dive into his incredible journey. Before the world knew his name, before Etihad Stadium echoed with his brilliance, Kevin De Bruyne was just a quiet, red-haired kid from Drongen, a small town in Belgium. He wasn't loud, he wasn't flashy, but from the moment he kicked the football, something was different. He didn't just play the game, he saw it. Like a chess master predicting 10 moves ahead. Growing up in a German-speaking household, Kevin's world was disciplined and quiet. His parents, both educated and reserved, never imagined their son would become a global football icon. But Kevin, he had his own plan. A football and a dream, that's all he needed. At just 6 years old, he joined his first youth team, KVV Drongen. Coaches were stunned, not by his speed or strength, but by his mind. The way he passed, the angles he chose, the calmness under pressure. It was like watching an adult trapped in a kid's body. People started whispering, this kid thinks 2 steps ahead. But the path wasn't smooth. At Genks Academy, young Kevin was miles away from home and family. Loneliness set in. He lived with foster families, battled homesickness, and faced rejection from peers who mocked his accent and quiet nature. You'll never make it, some said. His response? Silence, and a ball at his feet. By the time he was 17, he'd made his senior debut for Genk. That season, he wasn't just a boy in a man's league. He was controlling it, precise passing, calm decisions, big plays. He led Genk to a league title in 2010-11, making Europe take notice. Then came the big break, a transfer to Chelsea in 2012. But instead of a fairy tale, it turned into a nightmare. Benched, forgotten, overshadowed by big names. De Bruyne barely got minutes. Jose Mourinho didn't believe in him. Critics laughed. Too slow, they said. Not Premier League material. Can you imagine a future legend sitting on the sidelines, invisible, but Kevin never cracked. He trained, he watched, he waited. This wasn't failure, it was fuel. Because sometimes the greatest stories don't start with a spotlight. They begin in the shadows where true champions are built. When Kevin De Bruyne left Chelsea in January 2014, it felt like the door had slammed shut on his Premier League dream. He had made just 9 appearances, many of them brief, uninspiring cameos before being quietly shipped off to VfL Wolfsburg for around £18 million sterling. 0 pence. The English press called him a flop. Pundits mocked the hype. Fans, most didn't even blink. To many, he was just another name in a long list of forgotten prospects. But sometimes, all a player needs is belief. In Germany, De Bruyne finally found the freedom and trust he had long craved. At Wolfsburg, he wasn't just a bench warmer or a backup plan, he was the centerpiece. Midfield became his canvas, the Bundesliga his gallery, and with every touch of the ball, he painted a masterpiece. The 2014-15 season wasn't a comeback, it was an eruption. De Bruyne didn't just perform, he dominated. With a stunning 21 assists, a Bundesliga record, and 10 goals, he lit up German football. His performances were electric. He could thread a needle through the thickest defenses, smash in goals from 30 yards, and slow the game down just enough to deliver the perfect pass. Suddenly, the so-called Chelsea reject was the most talked about midfielder in Europe. Analysts marveled at his technique, Coaches across the continent began to circle because this wasn't just a redemption arc, it was a revolution. De Bruyne's footballing IQ and ability to dictate tempo made him unlike any other midfielder in the league. He wasn't just reading the game, he was rewriting it. That same season, he was deservedly named Bundesliga Player of the Year, and his market value skyrocketed. Under his guidance, Wolfsburg finished second in the Bundesliga, defying expectations and pushing Bayern Munich throughout the campaign. And they didn't stop there. With De Bruyne orchestrating the midfield, they lifted the prestigious DFB Pokal, Germany's domestic cup. From a club that few considered contenders, Wolfsburg became a force, and Kevin was the heartbeat. By the summer of 2015, De Bruyne's redemption was complete. Manchester City came knocking, armed with belief, and a then club record £55 million sterling, 0 pence. They weren't just signing a midfielder, they were welcoming back a re-engineered footballing weapon. De Bruyne's stint at Wolfsburg lasted just 18 months, but its impact was seismic. He entered Germany as a discarded name, he left it as a kingmaker, because sometimes when the world turns its back, all you need is a place that lets you shine and a fire that refuses to go out. In the summer of 2015, Kevin De Bruyne returned to the Premier League, not with a whisper, but with a statement. Manchester City signed him for a then club record fee of £55 million sterling, 0 pence. A decision that raised more than a few eyebrows. After all, wasn't this the same player Chelsea deemed unfit for English football? Critics doubted, the media questioned, but City saw what others missed, a generational talent waiting to be unleashed. De Bruyne made his debut on 12 September 2015, stepping onto the pitch as a second-half substitute in a 1-0 win over Crystal Palace. Just 7 days later, he scored his first goal for the club against West Ham United. It wasn't just a goal, it was the intent, the confidence, the presence. Kevin wasn't here to prove a point, he was here to take control. Despite suffering an injury that kept him out for nearly 2 months, De Bruyne finished the 2015-16 season with 9 goals and 9 assists in the Premier League. A phenomenal return for a debut campaign filled with adaptation and pressure. Then came the turning point. In 2016, Pep Guardiola arrived at Manchester City. The tactical genius from Spain found his perfect conductor in Kevin De Bruyne. Guardiola handed him the keys to City's engine room, and the results were electric. In the 2017-18 season, De Bruyne orchestrated City's play like a maestro, providing 16 assists and scoring 8 goals, driving them to a record-breaking 100-point Premier League campaign. But he wasn't done. The 2019-20 season was arguably his most dazzling. De Bruyne equaled Thierry Henry's long-standing record of 20 assists in a single Premier League season. And, as if that weren't enough, he also found the back of the net 13 times, confirming his dual threat as both creator and finisher. By April 2023, he had reached the 100 assist milestone in just 237 appearances, the fastest player in league history to do so, and as of the 2024-25 season, he had amassed 119 assists, ranking second only to Ryan Giggs. Beyond stats though was the emotion, the clutch passes when City needed hope, the long-range screamers when no one else could break the deadlock, the rhythm he brought to every match, calm, calculated, devastating. On the European stage, his magic never faded. De Bruyne played a vital role in City's first ever Champions League triumph in 2023, cementing his status as one of football's elite. From a forgotten talent to a living legend, De Bruyne didn't just return to the Premier League, he rebuilt it in his image. Kevin De Bruyne didn't just play football, he redefined it. With every touch, every glance, every pass, he reshaped the very essence of what it meant to be a midfielder in the modern game. His unmatched vision, laser-like precision, and boundless creativity turned ordinary moments into pure magic. De Bruyne wasn't just influencing matches, he was controlling them. In the 2019-20 season, he equaled Thierry Henry's long-standing record of 20 assists assists in a single Premier League campaign, a mark many believed would stand forever. His passes didn't just create goals, they carved open defenses like a scalpel. Whether it was a curling ball into the box, a disguised through ball, or a sweeping long-range delivery, De Bruyne made chance creation look effortless. By April 2023, he had reached 100 Premier League assists in just 237 appearances, becoming the fastest player in history to reach that milestone. And he didn't stop there. By the end of the 2024-25 season, he had tallied 119 assists, second only to the legendary Ryan Giggs, and he did it in significantly fewer games. But assists were only part of the story. De Bruyne also netted 72 goals in 288 Premier League appearances, showcasing his ability to strike from distance, arrive late in the box, and punish opponents with either foot. His balance of creative genius and goal-scoring instinct made him a complete midfielder, perhaps the most complete the league has ever seen. His brilliance translated into team success. De Bruyne was the engine behind 6 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, and a UEFA Champions League triumph, Manchester City's first in history. He turned great teams into dominant ones. The individual accolades followed. He was named Premier League Player of the Season twice, in 2019-20 and 2021-22, and won the Playmaker of the Season award 3 times, further affirming his dominance. Off the pitch, De Bruyne's quiet leadership spoke volumes. Respected for his humility, discipline, and team-first mentality, he became a role model across the footballing world. His departure at the end of the 2024-25 season closed a monumental chapter, but his legacy, that's eternal. Kevin De Bruyne didn't just break records. He broke the game and rebuilt it in brilliance. Kevin De Bruyne's impact at Manchester City transcended statistics. While his goals and assists were remarkable, it was his leadership, humility, and connection with the club that truly defined his legacy. In 2021, De Bruyne expressed his desire to be a leader at the club, emphasizing the importance of guiding younger players and contributing to the team's progress. He stated, "I want the team to progress. Even the youth, I want to help them. The women's team. It's important for this club to promote everything." His commitment to the club was evident in his actions off the pitch. De Bruyne was involved in various charitable initiatives, including the Common Goal campaign, which encourages professional footballers to donate 1% of their wages to support global social causes. He also organised the Kevin De Bruyne Cup, an international youth football tournament in his hometown of Droghen, Belgium, showcasing his dedication to nurturing young talent. De Bruyne's influence extended to his teammates. He was known for his professionalism and humility, earning the respect of players like Erling Haaland and Ruben Dias. His leadership was instrumental in fostering a cohesive and motivated team environment. As his time at Manchester City came to an end, the club honoured him with a mosaic and named a road at the City Football Academy after him. A statue outside the Etihad Stadium was also commissioned, solidifying his status as a club legend. In his farewell message, De Bruyne expressed his gratitude, saying, "Manchester is home. I came here with my wife Michelle, and we didn't expect to be here 10 years, to do what we have done as a club. With the supporters, my teammates, we've won everything. We've made the club bigger, and now they're going to take over." Kevin De Bruyne's legacy at Manchester City is not just defined by his on-field achievements, but by the profound impact he had on the club's culture, his teammates, and the fans. He will be remembered not only as one of the greatest midfielders in Premier League history, but also as the heart of Manchester City. After a decade of brilliance, Kevin De Bruyne's legendary journey with Manchester City is approaching its final chapter. At 33 years old, the Belgian midfield maestro has officially announced that he will leave the club at the end of the 2024-25 season, closing the book on one of the most iconic careers the Premier League has ever witnessed. His departure doesn't just signify the end of a player's contract, it marks the close of an era. During his time at the Etihad, De Bruyne played 413 matches, scored 106 goals, and delivered a staggering 119 assists in the Premier League alone. But those numbers only scratch the surface. He was the rhythm of City's midfield, the architect of their most breathtaking plays, and the steady pulse behind some of their greatest triumphs. With De Bruyne at the heart of it all, City won 6 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, and that long-awaited UEFA Champions League crown. He wasn't just a part of Manchester City's golden generation, he was the spark that lit it. Now with his contract expiring, De Bruyne is set for a new adventure. Reports suggest he's agreed to join Napoli on a free transfer, signing a 2-year deal with an option for a 3rd. The move presents a fresh challenge in Serie A, alongside familiar faces and a different style of football, but one that suits his intelligence and vision perfectly. Yet even as he prepares to leave Manchester, De Bruyne remains far from fading. On the international stage, he continues to shine. In a recent World Cup qualifier, he scored a crucial goal in Belgium's thrilling 4-3 victory over Wales, proving he's still a match winner at the highest level. As Kevin De Bruyne prepares to walk away from the Etihad, he leaves behind more than trophies and records. He leaves a legacy, one etched in brilliance, defined by class and celebrated by fans, teammates, and even rivals. Because legends don't fade, they just find new ways to inspire. As Kevin De Bruyne prepares to bid farewell to Manchester City at the end of the 2024-25 season, the football world pauses, not just to say goodbye, but to reflect on the staggering legacy he leaves behind. A decade of dominance, a career of class, a player who didn't just perform, he transformed. With 118 Premier League assists, De Bruyne stands proudly as the 2nd highest assist provider in league history, behind only Ryan Giggs. But here's the twist, he accomplished this in just 288 appearances, a rate unmatched by any player before him. He didn't chase records, he set them on fire. But numbers alone can't define Kevin De Bruyne. His footballing mind was an artist's brush, his passes strokes of genius, vision, precision, balance, he had it all. He didn't just dictate matches, he orchestrated them like a maestro conducting a symphony. Pep Guardiola, a coach who's worked with legends like Messi and Xavi, called him one of the greatest midfielders ever. That isn't praise, it's validation. Naturally, comparisons flow. Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, Vieira, Silva, giants of the Premier League era. But De Bruyne's consistency, versatility, and longevity push him into a category of his own. He wasn't just a goal scorer or a provider, he was everything, all at once. He won Premier League Player of the Season twice, he lifted the Playmaker of the Season trophy 3 times, and he delivered in moments that mattered most. Not just stat padding, but match-winning brilliance in title-defining clashes. As Manchester City's most decorated era begins to shift, Chairman Khaldoon Al-Mubarak described De Bruyne as the greatest player to ever wear a Manchester City shirt. That's more than admiration, that's legacy. And as Kevin steps into the next chapter of his career, whether it be in Italy, the MLS, or back home in Belgium, one truth stands unshaken. His legend is already written. He inspired young footballers to think, to create, to see the pitch not just as a battlefield, but as a blank canvas. For a generation, he was the blueprint. Kevin De Bruyne didn't just play in the Premier League, he changed it forever. As the final whistle blew at the Etihad Stadium, Kevin De Bruyne stood amidst a sea of applause, his eyes reflecting a decade of memories. The crowd's chant of King Kev echoed, a testament to the indelible mark he left on Manchester City. In his farewell match, De Bruyne received a guard of honor from teammates, a tribute video featuring legends like Sergio Aguero and Vincent Kompany, and heartfelt messages from fans worldwide. Overcome with emotion, he addressed the crowd, saying, "I hope you remember me with joy." His departure marks the end of an era, With 108 goals and 177 assists in 421 appearances, De Bruyne's contributions were pivotal in City's 6 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 5 League Cups and a UEFA Champions League triumph. Manchester City chairman Khaldoun Al-Mubarak lauded him as the club's greatest ever player, announcing plans for a statue outside the Etihad Stadium to honour his legacy. As De Bruyne embarks on a new chapter with Napoli, his influence remains. Tijani Riders, City's new midfield signing, expressed admiration for De Bruyne, aiming to emulate his style and impact. Kevin De Bruyne's story is one of resilience, brilliance and unwavering dedication. He didn't just play for Manchester City, he became its heartbeat. His legacy will inspire generations to come, a true architect of footballing excellence. Kevin De Bruyne's journey was never just about goals or trophies. It was about rewriting the language of football. From rejection to royalty, he rose with vision, heart, and unmatched brilliance. He made the impossible look effortless and turned passing into poetry. As he steps into a new chapter, one thing is certain: the Premier League may never witness another quite like him. If you believe Kevin De Bruyne is the greatest Premier League player of all time, hit that like button. And if you have a different legend in mind, drop their name in the comments and let's talk football.